Today on AGetc, we start off with Dr. John Foltz, Chair of the Department of Animal Sciences at Ohio State University, who will be talking to us about focusing on facts versus emotion when building a succession plan in your business. Next, we have another soil health use segment with Paul Jasa, and then we hear about beef trends common to this continent from just north of the border. Next, we have a soybean research update from Harold Trick, and we end with another Cattleman's Corner with host Barret Simon and guest KSU Beef Extension specialist Bob Weaver. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
I would say that when you look at how a business is going to transition to the future, you should keep the focus on the business planning. And if you can keep it as logical and keep it as unemotional as possible, which is almost impossible, but if you can focus on the facts, it will make things go a lot better. And also, if you can focus on the future. Most people can agree that we want our business to continue to move forward into the future, and how are we going to assure that? So succession planning in terms of how we're going to find the right people to fill these roles in the future is what most people want. The challenge becomes they don't always have the same idea of how you're going to get there. Framing things objectively. And one of the things that I would suggest, and I'm not really a consultant, I've done consulting, but sometimes somebody from the outside can assist because they can come in and provide that objective look at your business and say, you know, I've heard both sides here, and this group has valid concerns, and this group has valid concerns. Here are some things that we could take to move forward. But it's providing that objective feedback and advice that sometimes can take the emotion off of the table. But the bottom line is it's the focus on the future and how we're going to get from where we are today to where we want to go in the future related to people helping to run the business. So a business plan, I'm sure many of you have a business plan. Oftentimes we talk about a short-term strategy and long-term strategy, but oftentimes the succession plan is not part of that business plan. I would make the argument here that that would be something that you should consider adding to your business plan, and it involves outlining the vision with specific goals and strategies, and then looking at the people within your business. Outline each person's role over the next several years, including those who might enter or exit the business. And that's where you can get to either the family side or in the corporate standpoint, you know kind of where people are at in their career, and so what are the probabilities of them leaving, and you can plug that into this plan. And then listing these expectations about changes that may occur over time. So the bottom line of what we're talking about here is trying to look at succession planning or moving forward into the future as objectively as you can and laying out, okay, what are the pieces of it? Where do we want the business to go? Who are the players? How do we look at replacing some of those people? And when you talk about that, it involves emotions, because people may not be willing to talk about what they're going to retire.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer and work with you.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Well, when it comes to the discussion now, a lot of people are talking about soil health. Soil health is a number of things. The first thing I look at is soil structure. We got to stop destroying soil structure with tillage. Mother Nature has never done tillage. Mother Nature builds structure by freeze-thaw, by wetting and drying. The soils shrink and expand, but it also builds a structure by growing roots into that soil. So I want to build a structure that allows water to penetrate and gas exchange to occur so the roots can do respiration, and for the roots can penetrate. So build that structure. Well, soil health, a lot of people say it's 4, 5, 6 different principles. The main ones are keep the soil covered all times of the year, whether it be crop residue, whether it be a growing crop, something there to keep the sun and wind off the soil surface or absorb raindrop impact. Number 2 is minimal soil disturbance. Don't destroy the structure, don't destroy the living life in the soil, so minimal disturbance. Third thing is diversity. It's just like you and I like diverse diet to eat, so is our soil, so our soil health. So I want cool season crops, warm season crops, legumes, carbon crops, pollinators. I want diversity out the system. I also want a living root as much as possible year round. You and I don't eat just 5 months a year. Why do we think our soil is going to eat only 5 months a year growing corn? Let's say you had a living root to feed that soil biology year round. And the fifth thing for some producers is to incorporate livestock back in the system. Livestock helps trampling residue to get it in contact with soil. It helps actually leave some feces and urine and rearrange some of the nutrients in the field, and actually pre-processes that cellulose. So when they eat the residue and out comes from the backside of the animal, it's already starting the biological processes for us. Crop Watch is a crop production, crop scouting newsletter done by Nebraska Extension, where we have extension specialists throughout the growing season put together crop recommendations based upon what they see in the field. We love watching what's blowing up from the south, for instance. We love watching what's happening for disease, but then more important, alert people what to do. And then as such, it's become our portal for all of our crop production information. You might read about an insect problem that's blowing in today, but now I can click on the tab, bring down insects in my crop and see what the recommendations are to help reduce the problem or help treat the problem. And again, we're looking at all of our extension publications hopefully available there and hopefully up to date. And that's why the weekly newsletter is important, because it does stay up to date that way. Well, growers learn a lot from the university people who have done research, but more important, they learn from others like themselves. And a lot of times university research gets criticized because, well, you don't have to make money at it. The farmer has to make money at it, so I'm going to do it different. Well, I like to do my extension programs making money. I like to do mine to build profitability, build productivity, reduce risk to the environment, build soil health. Those are things that farmers are doing to be long-term successful. That's where conferences like this, we have a lot of farmer presenters because they're the ones doing it. So they're the ones that are going to teach you the most.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop. Liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Before high-quality beef reaches consumers, food distributors work to make connections and sell the product.
Well, I literally started from the ground up. I was the cleanup boy or the sanitation supervisor, if you will, and kind of grew up from there. I worked for 5 different meat companies, and so now here I am 50 years later.
The Certified Angus Beef Specialist reflects on how the meat business has changed over those years.
I think the quality has gone up, especially when you're a CAB supplier or distributor. I think you see that quality, and that's something that we strive in our company is to serve the best quality. I've seen that type of thing work all the way through from each company that I work for.
He enjoys educational sessions and camaraderie with other beef professionals, and he looks to take new ideas back to customers.
There's always something like today. I actually, during the video here, I saw that guy cutting up a short rib, and I'd never seen it done like that, and I want to learn how to do that myself so I can take that to a customer, because it's almost like a tomahawk, but it's a short rib, and I thought that was a great idea.
Working to sell more beef means creative thinking about how to help chefs see new potential and flexibility with premium products.
Sometimes you think as a salesman it's the chef that's supposed to come up with the menu ideas and not you, but if you can find something that they've never heard of before, then you can come up with a better idea or some idea to put it on their menu.
I'm Bob Cervera.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel, made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
My name is Harold Trick. I'm a professor in plant pathology at K-State. And my major goal in research is to improve crops using genetic engineering. And so today we're looking at soybean genetic engineering. And the things that we're working on, number one is we're looking at nematode resistance. And so for nematode resistance, what we're doing is we're looking at trying to silence genes in the nematodes by producing small molecules in the soybeans. So we genetically engineered a soybean with these small molecules. When the nematodes feed on the soybean roots, they ingest these small molecules and they actually shut off the genes that we're targeting, effectively killing the nematodes. For the first time this year, we've taken the seeds and actually did field trials. Unfortunately, with the weather that we had this year, the trials weren't successful. We just didn't see any nematodes. But we're going to be doing this again next year. Hopefully it'll be better weather for that. And we'll go from there. So another thing that we're working on is, along with Mike Smith, is a very similar project, but it was with Decti stem borer. And so we're looking at producing these small molecules, again, targeting specific deck stem borer genes. Hopefully, again, when the deck stem borer feeds on the soybeans, they'll ingest these molecules and turning off specific genes on the decties. And this is some of the things that we're trying to do. With genetic engineering, we're going to have to find partners in the industry to promote our projects and to carry them through to commercialization. It's just too expensive for the university to go and do that. With these projects, we need to find teams, and so it's a collaboration between the universities and industry and the Kansas farmers to try to get these projects moving beyond just the basic research and trying to get it to be applied and actually then commercialized. And so we need to have all of these partners together to try to move these projects forward.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if your cattle get out, you could be held liable for that? Call me, let's have a discussion. 316-945-6733.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Well, hello friends, and welcome back to the Cattleman's Corner, a video series highlighting the beef industry. I'm Barret Simon, livestock production agent for the Post Rock Extension District, and today I'm with cow-calf extension specialist, Hereford enthusiast, and a good friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Bob Weaver. Bob, thanks for joining us.
You bet, Barret. Looking forward to it. This is going to be a lot of fun.
So, and we are kind of prepping up for some of our winter and spring meetings here, where we do bring our specialists and other industry experts right here to the local level, and we do have Bob on hand for several of those, and we wanted to talk a little bit about some upcoming pertinent topics, and namely this time of year, really bull sale season. And I guess I'd like to pick your brain both as your extension specialist with that hat on, but also from your experience, of course, with the animal science department and specifically the purebred unit over there in Manhattan, and your dealings as a seed stock vendor as well.
Right, no, that sounds great.
We wanted to pick your brain there just in terms of bull purchase.
Yeah. So I think one of the really important things for producers to think about as they get ready for bull purchase season is to really figure out kind of what it is they need. So understand the traits that they're after in terms of genetic improvement, and we encourage producers to really think a lot about tying that to their marketing stream, right? So connecting, if we sell calves at weaning time, weaning weight ought to be a trait that's in the selection criteria. If you retain ownership every year, sell cattle on the rail, we change our focus, right? We put focus on end product traits and genetic merit in that area as opposed to some of the other traits. So getting the alignment of the tools and the traits to your marketing objectives is really important.
Sure, and I think that goes hand in hand with some things I like to share, particularly with other younger producers or producers in my generation, is I think it's very important. I'm still doing this myself. I'm by far from an expert, but to, I guess, for lack of better terms, get in where you fit in and find out what your production system is and what the traits of importance are. And I don't think there's any shame in visiting, like you say, with those bull guys or bull producers around the territory.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy too, Barrett's. The seed stock vendors, I mean, who knows the bulls that are for sale at their place than the vendor, right? So the bulls at K-State, Shane Work and I know the bulls, right?
Sure.
We've got experience and can help guide producers to the right set of bulls. So if we know you come in and you tell us, well, I'm looking for a bull to build and keep replacement heifers, we can kind of get you pointed the right way.
Right.
And along with that, if you've got needs in terms of bolstering your understanding of the selection tools that are available, whether that's Selection Index or EPDs, we can get you those resources and help point you in the right direction.
Sure enough, and I think that does go a long way for producers of all size and scale to be able to have that conversation and appreciation to visit with whoever the vendor may be. Like you said, in this case, Shane Work and yourself, know those cattle like the back of your hand. I guess I'd like for you to hit on, and you have alluded to, knowing where your priorities lie. Let's take that one step further, and as we talk about doing a little homework before we show up sale day or before we leave bids with the producer, understanding some of those EPDs, and I guess I'd ask you to hit on just a couple of the big ones, and not to show prejudice for the Angus breed, but that's probably your most
people
popular.
know. Yep. I think a couple that kind of through communication with various producers, commercial and seed stock alike, that I think merit some attention. One's calving ease direct, and it's maybe that we don't need to put all of our eggs in that basket, right? We've got lots of calving ease potential. In fact, our Sunflower Supreme Heifer program, we recommend, I think it's a 7 or an 8 calving ease direct EPD to breed virgin or yearling heifers. That provides a really high level of calving ease or low dystocia rates. We probably don't need 18, 19s, and 20s, right?
Sure.
We give up a lot of territory in terms of particularly birth weight and growth performance in those real high calving ease genetics cattle. And this time of year, today's a pretty chilly day. A 50, 55 pounder is pretty tough to keep alive when it's 0 outside.
Sure.
Maybe let's make sure we keep that one kind of between the mustard and the mayo, keep it on the road. The other one that I think does merit a significant amount of focus actually is maternal calving ease or calving ease maternal. So as we think about breeding bulls to cows that we're going to keep replacement heifers out of, putting some emphasis in that territory, I think is worth a lot.
You bet.
Yep.
You bet.
The other one that I think maybe is underutilized by a lot of folks are the selection indexes. So figuring out which one of those selection indexes best aligns with my production system, and using that as really a first screen for a set of bulls that I'm going to purchase. It makes it really easy because I can sort the bulls up in the catalog or Excel spreadsheet by one number, and that number is weighted in such a way that it optimizes and balances the traits appropriately. Okay.
Sure thing.
Yep. One of the areas that we really, as we think about using EPDs and selection indexes, it's really useful to kind of understand where the offering you're looking at ranks in terms of other animals in the population that are available for selection. So the calving ease number is a great one. A 7 or an 8's in the top 40 or 30% of the breed.
Sure.
That provides enough for heifers. We don't have to go top 5% for calving ease. We got enough in Angus. But having that percentile table, so I know a number of breeders either publish that or make it available. If you just Google search whatever your breed of choice is and percentile table, you can find that, and that's one of the things I want producers to have at hand as they work through the catalog in advance of going to the sale. I encourage producers to make a list based on the catalog of maybe 3 times as many bulls as they actually need to buy on paper. So when they get to the sale site, sale day, they can really focus their attention on that group of bulls and sort them down a little bit. So find the one that maybe you don't like his head shape or his feet and legs, whatever it is that you don't like about him. You got room to cull a few off, and then have room for sort of the budgetary factors, right? I got Cadillac taste, Chevrolet budget. So, invariably I'll pick a couple of bulls that are, 1, 2, or 3 in the sale order that some seed stock guy is going to buy. And as a commercial producer, if those are only 3 bulls on my list, now all of a sudden I'm scrambling through the book trying to pick a bull, and I just buy one that goes through the ring that may not be a disaster, but isn't an optimum solution to the problem. So,
and lots of people can go find the headliners or the top end, right? And those are the ones that are we sure enjoy gravitating to. But like you said, there's lots of good commercial bulls being sold around the country that if a guy does his homework and goes in with an open point of view, then you can probably be better off than scrambling.
You can really manage your budget and your investment and keep it in bounds.
Sure.
And I think it's good to have both a conversation with your seed stock vendor before the sale, kind of understand sale history and kind of how the demand's been. So you've got an idea. Am I at a sale where bulls are going to average 3,500 or 5,500 or 7,500?
Sure.
And be prepared when you get there. That you've had the conversation with your banker already, or mom, or whoever it is that you need to have that with, so that you're no surprise.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.